So, good morning everybody, and welcome back to another Monday morning assembly. I hope you've had a lovely week and a really super weekend. I hope that in whatever you were doing at the weekend, maybe you managed to celebrate time with your fathers yesterday and your dads, whether that was in remembrance or whether that was with them yesterday and actually celebrating with them where you could. And I hope that whatever you did, whether you managed to get a card or a little gift or something, that you either celebrated that in person or maybe it was a day of remembrance for you. Either way, I hope that you were able to celebrate your dad and your fathers and that you had a lovely time doing so. So good morning everybody. It's from reception year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5 and year 6. Welcome back to your homeschooling week or your time in school week, whichever one you are doing, wherever you are watching this at the moment. And I hope that you'll go on to have a great week this week. Now, this week I want to concentrate on this again. I'm going to keep coming back to this. This is the summer reading challenge. I hope that you've been nagging your mums and your dads to get you logged in, and that you've been having a chance to get on there and have a look at the books and read them and do the games and the activities that are in there. We know how important reading is. We know it's great for the memory. We know it's great at building your vocabulary. It's a wonderful way to get more knowledge inside your head. And we know that reading is a vital skill that sets you up for life. So if you haven't signed up, please do. And when you have, and you've started to complete the challenges, and you've started to read the books, then let us know about it. Email in to your teachers the usual addresses that you've got to send those in. Put up a tweet about it. Copy us into that as well so that we can keep track of what's been going on with the Summer Reading Challenge. And I think there's also a certificate that you can get at the end of it as well. So if you haven't started it, please get involved. The books are wonderful, the activities are great, and the Northamptonshire Libraries have put a really good piece of work together for you to enjoy reading now and over the summer holidays. So please sign up and please get involved. As usual, it's been wonderful to see the work coming in. Two pieces here. We've got Paige, who's gone outside and found things in her garden or in nature and has come back and then used it to make a kind of piece of artwork around creating an insect. And we've also got someone who's gone out and actually found a plant and then drawn a picture and labelled the key elements of that plant as well. And I think it's lovely that the work is still coming in, that you're still trying to give it your best, you're still trying to keep going under now what has been a long time of staying under this new way of working. And I can't get over just how amazing it has been to see you still trying, still doing your best and still carrying on and working as hard as you can. And that goes for the children in school as well, who have been doing these dinosaur silhouette pictures this week. They've been working really hard. If you look very closely in here, you might even spot one from Mr. Hearn, who's managed to get his in on the act as well on the display. But again, I think what is wonderful about this is that it would be so easy to give up on things like the arts and the music and those things that are really important to us that we do, those skills, those creative skills that we use every day that show just what wonderful things people can create. And it would be easy to let those go. This has gone on now for a long time, this whole new way of being, and it would be very easy to just give up on them. And it's wonderful to see this work is still carrying on and how hard you are working during this very difficult time. And it's that I want to concentrate on this week. After so many weeks now of this carrying on, and we also know now that there'll be many of you who won't be coming back to school this side of the summer. And as sad as that is, we've got to find a way to carry on. And hopefully we'll be able to get you back in September, and then we'll all be back to where we were before all of this started. And actually that might mean that some of you are starting to feel a bit sad, you're starting to feel a bit down, and maybe things are much more difficult than you wanted them to be. And I found this poem. It's called Life. And I think it sums up sometimes just how we can feel when things are not going our way, when things are difficult, when things are actually quite sad. And it can leave us feeling just like this. I am living a miserable life, and it's foolish to believe that life is an endless stream of hope and chances. It's true that life is frustrating, and no one can ever make any difference to the world. Never have I believed that happiness and hope is the engine that supports our life. I realise that this may be a shock, but humans' hearts are full of warmth is a lie, and human hearts are hideous and cannot be trusted. It's always true that life is desperate. Do not think that life is to be treasured. And those thoughts can sum up really, really well, I think, how down we can get when things carry on for too long, when things are not going our way, when things are hard and we have to work really hard to try and overcome them. Sometimes life does feel like this, and it can leave us feeling very, very sad. We know from our zones of regulation that sometimes these feelings can put us into the sad zone. And that's okay. Sometimes sadness can be brief. Sometimes sadness can happen over an hour. Sometimes it can happen over a day. Sometimes over a week. Sometimes sadness can stay with us for much longer. And sadness can come in many different forms. It could be through frustration, through things that have happened that we cannot control, through things where we just cannot carry on anymore. Sometimes it can come because we give up. Sometimes it can happen because we give up on trying, because we can no longer try anymore, and we need to find something inside us that lifts us up and gets us back to where we were before. Now that poem that I've just read does come across as very sad. It's also a very, very clever poem. Because when you read the poem from the top to the bottom, it reads as a very sad poem. But let me show you how it was also meant to be read. Life is to be treasured. Do not think that life is desperate. It's always true that humans' hearts are hideous and cannot be trusted is a lie, and human hearts are full of warmth. I realise that this may be a shock, but happiness and hope is the engine that supports our life. Never have I believed that life is frustrating and no one can ever make any difference to the world. It's true that life is an endless stream of hope and chances, and it's foolish to believe that I am living a miserable life. Now this wonderful poem, written by Clarissa, who I don't know is an actual poet or a published poet. She clearly can write fantastic poetry, because this is a very clever poem. It's called a reverse poem. When you read it one way, it reads as very sad. But when you read it from the bottom to the top, it actually reads as full of happiness. And that really is how life is. Sometimes it can be sad and difficult and hard, and that's how we feel. And sometimes it can be uplifting, wonderful, and bursting with happiness and joy. And equally, we can feel both those things. And so then we can move from sadness into joy. And we know that what comes from that is that happiness and that wonderfulness from either succeeding at something, from time spent with people who are important to us, and then we fill our hearts with a gladness that takes over from the sadness that was there before. Sometimes it comes from overcoming something. Sometimes it can be something that was really hard and we've had to work hard at. Suddenly we get it. Suddenly we've learnt it. Suddenly we can do it, and that makes us feel very, very happy. It's a great poem. Seek it out and read it. It's a wonderful way of showing how one moment we might be feeling sad, but equally, when something else changes, we can end up feeling very happy and very joyful. And it's these things that actually we've learnt from history as well. Here's a quote from Thomas Edison. Now, Thomas Edison was an American inventor, and we owe a lot to him. In fact, we owe the electric light bulb as we know it to his inventions. And what's amazing is that I think he tried nearly over 10,000 times to invent the light bulb, and 10,000 times he failed. It didn't work. But here is what he said about it. Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. In other words, no matter when things are hard and we're trying to learn something and we just don't seem to be able to do it, then just give it one more go. If Thomas Edison hadn't given it just one more go, then the way that we work with electricity in our homes and our houses and our streets, it wouldn't have been the same. The electric light bulb would have been something very different. It certainly wouldn't have been as efficient and effective as the one that we have today without Thomas Edison. And this idea of never giving up has come through a lot of people who are really important. Here's Rosa Parks. Now, some of you will have seen a fantastic story about Rosa Parks in Doctor Who not so long ago. And some of you may know that Rosa Parks was an American lady who, during the time in America, refused to get off a bus. And the reason she refused is America at that time was saying that only white people were allowed on certain buses. And Rosa wasn't allowed on the bus that she got on. And she said this wasn't fair. And she became very famous for holding her ground and not giving in. And so in time, of course, things changed. And this is what she said. She said, to bring about change, you must not be afraid to take the first step. We will fail when we fail to try. And I think it's a lovely quote, because we've all heard about the try again that we've been listening to from the Premier football stars. And actually Rosa Parks is saying exactly the same thing. We will fail if you don't try. If you fail to try and you just give up and you say it's too hard, I can't carry on, then we'll fail. But if you don't, if you give it another go, if you take the first step and you try again and you try again and you try again, then that will lead to success. And coming a little bit closer, I think this has always been one of the greatest quotes from Michael Jordan, an American basketball player, some might argue the best of his time. And he said, I've always believed that if you put in the work, the results will come. But more importantly, he said this, I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I have failed over and over and over again in my life. And that is why I succeed. And what he's saying is, mistakes are okay. It's all right to get things wrong. But you don't give up. You carry on. When things are hard, you don't give up. You try again. You carry on. And that message has come through very strong in those 4 things that we've looked at today. From that poem, from what Thomas Edison said, from what Rosa Parks said, and hear what Michael Jordan has said about the sport of basketball and what he did to succeed. Yes, he's made mistakes. Yes, things didn't always go to plan. Things didn't always work out the way he wanted, but he didn't give up. He took that, he got better, he improved, and he made a difference. And so we can all take from this that when life is hard and things are difficult, whether that's with your learning, with whatever's happening in your home, there is a way through. Sometimes that way through is just by working really hard. Sometimes that way through is by getting on with your friends and sharing in something wonderful. Sometimes that's with your families, with other people, neighbours, friends. And as we slowly start to get back to being able to see more people again, those people will become important to us. and they will help us to succeed. So this week, I'm going to let you think about this. Those of you that have read the book Matilda, some of you have done dances to it in school, some of you have been to see the theatre show, but from the song, When I Grow Up, there's this lovely little verse, and I think what's great about songs is they can work just like poetry. And it goes like this: just because you find that life's not fair, it doesn't mean that you just have to grin and bear it. If you always take it on the chin and wear it, nothing will change. Just because I find myself in this story, it doesn't mean that everything is written for me. If I think the ending is fixed already, I might as well be saying, I think it's okay. And that's not right. And actually what this song does is echo all those things that we've just been talking about. That actually you can just decide to give up and give in and say that's the way it's going to be and I can't make any difference. Or, just as we know from the character of Matilda, that actually if you put in the hard work, you can make a difference. You can change things. You can change things for yourselves and you can change things for other people too. And that's what I want us to think about this way. What can we all be doing? What can you be doing to make things better for you? Not giving up, carrying on. What can you do for other people where you're not giving up, but you're carrying on? And as we've heard, where you try one more time. Just try one more time. Because actually, as this song says, if you think that the ending is fixed, then you might as well give up and say that it's okay. I don't have to try anymore. But actually, if you know that's not right, then you will give it one more go. So this week, I really want us to think about this one. I'm going to take enthusiastic out, I'm going to take safe out, I'm going to take thoughtful out, and that leaves us with brave. Having a really brave attitude this week, even when we are feeling sad and down, and turning it into a wonderful, hopeful, joyful time by just trying again, by just having one more go and hopefully getting to that point of success. So keep working hard, everybody. Don't give up. This isn't the time to say, that's it, I can give in now. Actually dig deep. Try your hardest. Keep showing us best. And this week, really, really focus on brave. So have a brave week, everybody. Think about the things that I've been talking about this week. And I will see you again next week. Have a super week, everybody. Bye for now.